guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Miami. This is season 6, episode 4. So let's get into it. So before we get into the review, y'all, we gonna get a little spicy, just a little, and talk about one spicy thing. This is coming by way of Lisa, and this is also a trigger warning as well because we will be talking about physical abuse. So if you're not comfortable with that, I will put on the screen the timestamp where you can move forward to the actual review. So about a few days ago, Lisa posted on her Insta story this picture with a circle around her arm, and you could see she circled an area that looks like there's a bruise. And this is the statement that she posted over the picture. She said, "Didn't want to have to share this, but I'm left with no choice. I'm being threatened and harassed through the court systems and through others by Lenny, and it needs to stop." This was almost 2 weeks old from last season. You may have caught this bruise on the episode when I opened up to the women on the show about the divorce. So we're not specifically sure what episode she's talking about. I don't know if she's talking about last week's episode where they were at the party that Larsa threw for Marcus for being gone for 3 days, or if she's talking about last season. And we also don't know who she's saying caused that bruise on her arm. We don't know. We don't know because she didn't put Lenny's name on it. She's just saying she's being harassed and threatened. She never said that he caused this harm to her. We also don't know if she's saying that maybe his ex-fiance or fiance or the mistress did this to her, or if other people that are close to Lenny caused this bruise on her arm. We don't know because Lisa didn't put a name on it. So right now, people are alleging that she's possibly saying that Lenny did this to her, or alleging that it was somebody else. Either way, I definitely am hoping that this divorce is coming to a close very soon by the end of this season, because honestly, with each passing month or week, it seems that it's getting more and more toxic. And I'm also surprised at Page 6, because it seems to me like Page 6 has been the ones that have been following this divorce very closely, that they aren't the ones that broke this story about there possibly being an alleged domestic violence situation between them. So who truly knows? Really, who truly knows? But like I said, I'm hoping that this divorce comes to a close soon, because it's getting worse by the passing minutes. All right, y'all. So the episode opens up and we see Julia at Adriana's house. Adriana actually has a really lovely home. I love her backyard. The setup of her backyard with the trees and the grass. Honestly, that is where I would be every day, just chilling in the backyard. That's a vibe. Her backyard is a vibe. So we find out that Julia wants to do a F cancer party, or a celebration that Martina beat cancer. And so she's asking Adriana, can they use her home? And Adriana's like, yeah, you're my friend, you're my best friend. Of course you can use my home. No questions asked. So Adriana asks Julia, who all are you inviting to this party? And Julia says, everybody. That includes Marisol as well. And Adriana's like, really, everybody? And Julia's like, yeah. But Adriana was like, okay, I know what me and Marisol have is petty, so I'ma just have to get over it. This is not an F Marisol party. This is an F cancer party. So while they're at Adriana's house, we find out that Julia wants to sing opera for Martina. She wants to surprise Martina by singing opera. I guess that's something that Martina is into. And so the opera singer, I think his name is Jordan. No, Jonathan. Jonathan comes over and we see Adriana. And what's funny to me is, as much as Adriana says Alexia is self-absorbed, she has a huge ass picture of herself near her piano. I said, really, Adriana? But Alexia be doing too much and she thinks girl, y'all are the same person. Okay, so Adriana is playing on the piano and doing a very beautiful job. So Jonathan starts singing and he's doing a really good job. Julia is nervous and kind of oh my God. But we find out that I think she said she spoke to Clive Davis. I said, girl, the Clive Davis? The one that was with Whitney? Okay. So Adriana's playing. The dog is humping Jonathan's leg. You got Adriana staring at Julia like, girl, because the guy is really doing well. But then Julia starts to sing, and it ain't good. It ain't good. It ain't good. And I was like, girl, my face was Adriana's face. Like, my God, today, girl. My God, today. So the next scene we see is Frankie, Alexia, and Peter going to Frankie's doctor. Pretty much, they are doing a new treatment like oxygen therapy on Frankie, hoping that it will help his brain more or less. They're pretty much saying that this therapy has been very experimental, but also very beneficial at the same time for Frankie. Alexia says, because the doctor asks, like, have you noticed anything different? Like, what do you, like, how do you feel? Or like, do you think this is helping? And Alexia's like, yes, like, he's been using words that I've never heard him use before. Like, it seems to be really helping Frankie out. And that's wonderful. Alexia talks about how, before the accident, Frankie was a lot different. He was a lot more confident. He was the kid that she felt like she never had to worry about. It was like Peter was the one that looked up to Frankie. Even though Frankie is the younger sibling, Peter looked up to him. And then when, unfortunately, Frankie getting into the accident and having the brain injury, it really changed things for them. And I wish Alexia, Peter would go to therapy. I just really wish they would go to therapy. More so Alexia, because I feel as though she uses Frankie's situation, his accident, as excuses as to why Peter acts the way he acts. And it's like, Peter's a grown man. I think Peter is 30 years old, and it's like, I get it. This whole entire situation changed the trajectory of all of y'all's life. But I don't think they can constantly blame Frankie's situation on why Peter is the way he is. And I feel like Alexia does that a lot. And I'm like, girl, that is not the reason why your son acts the way he acts. I wish you would stop that. But I digress. We see them place Frankie in the chamber. He actually goes to sleep, which, at first stresses Alexia out because she was like, he ain't never went to sleep. So she thought maybe something had happened. But no, the nurse or the other doctor that was in there actually said that that's actually a really good sign. Like, he's okay. And we move on. So I might ruffle a couple of people's feathers with how I feel about Lisa and Mr. Jody. We get this scene of Lisa. She's taking the kids over to Jody's house. He has a really nice pool. His place is actually really nice. But they're bringing gifts for his cat, as well as the kids want to play at his pool, which ain't nothing wrong with that. So they bring the kids over. Lisa ends up telling us that the kids refer to Jody as Uncle Jody. And I've always hated that. I've always hated when moms or dads will be like, oh, this is Aunt so-and-so, all the while that's your girlfriend, or oh, this is Uncle so-and-so, all the while that's your boyfriend. Just be honest with your kids. Just say like, hey, this is mom's friend, or this is daddy's friend. When you start confusing kids this way, you come into a lot of issues. And you can clearly tell that the kids are not dealing with what's happening between Lisa and Jody, not Jody, but Lisa and Lenny with the divorce, especially in that oldest kid. So they go over to Jody's house. The boy is happy to see Jody, happy to see the cat. So is the little girl. They bring treats from Target. You end up seeing the little girl getting in the pool. And then we see Jody had purchased the kids like cute little ceramic like DIY kits. And one was a dinosaur or a dragon, and the other one was a unicorn. Logan wanted the unicorn, but I guess they just thought like the little girl would want the unicorn. Logan's like, I don't want the dinosaur. I want the unicorn. And he's like throwing a fit, like shoving it off the table. And Lisa's like, that's not nice. Don't do that. And the little girl starts shoving it too. And then Jody can tell like it's kind of awkward, but he's trying to be like, well, I actually wanted the dinosaur. And then eventually the boy kind of like, okay. And so they start painting on the dinosaur. I was just kind of like, see, this is why we don't need this type of interaction. It's clear that the boy is having the hardest time with this whole divorce situation because he's old enough to understand what's happening. Lisa actually shares with Jody that Logan told her that, like, hey, I wish my parents were together. I wish my mommy and daddy could be together. And I'm not the type of person that's like, parents should stay together no matter what for the kids, because most of the time it's more detrimental for the kids. But I am that type of person that is like, if you guys are going to get a divorce, you need to do it in the right way. And Lenny is a coward and a bag of dicks for wanting to kick Lisa out abruptly, not wanting to pay for the kids to have the same lifestyle, and to cause all this contention between them. Honestly, if he didn't want to be with Lisa, no one's saying he had to be with Lisa. He genuinely could have been a man and told Lisa, like, hey, I don't think this is working out anymore, and I think that we should move to getting, moving away from being together. And he could have eased his family into this. But to introduce all of this is so quickly. I don't like the fact that the mistress was in the house with the kids. I don't know if Lenny let her meet the kids, but but I bet coming from Lenny, the kids probably met the mistress. I also don't like that Lisa's letting her kids meet Jody. And I got to put a little blame on Jody, because Jody should have been like, hey, until we get way more serious, I don't think it's a good idea for me to meet your kids. As well as he needs to tell Lisa, stop telling me about the situation with you and your man. I get it. Lisa feels like Jody is a godsend, and he is very kind to sit here and constantly listen to Lisa complain about Lenny. But honestly, Lisa needs a therapist, or someone that she sees weekly to help her navigate this situation. It seems like she just ran to Jody because he got money and he could take care of her and her family. But honestly, she needs to get money on her own so she's never in this predicament again, as well as she needs to talk about what is her life going to be now as a mother of two who's been with this man since she was 20 something years old, and how does she move forward with her life? She doesn't need to be with Jody. If Jody is really meant to be, then she can break up with him and find her way back to him after she get better. So the next couple of scenes we have is them fighting on the sprinter. So we find out that Larsa has invited all the ladies, I think by way of Marcus, to a charity basketball game. They're going to be split up into two groups. Some ladies are playing on the blue team, another group of ladies are playing on the black team. So they're all like on the sprinter. I think Adriana kept farting. I think it was Adriana that was like, she a little gassy, and they're all like, ugh, girl, really? So then Alexia and Adriana get into it. Somehow Alexia brings up Todd and about how, I know there's been people saying and speculating things about my relationship with Todd, and everyone's kind of looking at Alexia like, girl, what are you talking about? And Alexia is like, some people are saying that there's issues in my marriage. And I think Kiki was the one that said, yeah, like some people think you're going to get a divorce. And everybody on the bus is like, divorce? And Alexia is like, no, I would die before me and Todd would get a divorce. And Marisol seconds that. But then she brings up how, Todd made it known why he didn't come to the party. And so they do a flashback to when I told y'all last time, where it was like this awkward scene where Todd was pretty much explaining himself why he wasn't at the party when he really didn't need to at Lars's, party for Marcus and stuff. And pretty much Todd said that like he looked at the guest list and he saw a couple of people that he didn't really want to break bread with, so he just chose not to come. They were talking ill about his stepson, and pretty much saying that he didn't want to be there around Adriana. And so Adriana is sitting on the bus like, what are y'all talking about? And so Alexia is pretty much like, we know it doesn't have anything to do with Nicole and Juliana, because Todd was very gracious about apologizing. So then Adriana speaks up and she's kind of like, so who does he have an issue with? Because it either has to be me or Nicole or Julia, and it don't seem like he really have an issue with them. So you saying he has an issue with me? And so then Alexia is like, yeah, he has an issue with you. And so Adriana is like, no, he doesn't, because I saw your husband when we were leaving the New Horizons party, and he pretty much told me that like we good. Like, I said, if I affected you indirectly by way of my argument with your wife, I apologize. And then Todd said, no, we're good. And he made like a comment, like a quip saying, Adriana also said, well, I hope there's nothing wrong with y'all's relationship. And he said, you hit it on the nose or something like that. And Adriana was like, that's a euphemism that Todd used. So then Alexia gets mad. They're arguing back and forth while Nicole is sitting in the middle, confused, like, what is going on? Gertie's sitting behind her like, girl, what's happening? Because everyone's kind of like, what? So Todd admitted that there's issues in their relationship. So Alexia's like, no, he didn't. And then Adriana presses what's her name? Lisa. And Lisa, I guess Lisa was with her when Todd said what he said. And Lisa confirms that Todd did say that, like, she hit it on the nose, that there were some issues between him and Alexia. So they going back and forth. And then Adriana tries to act like, I've been nothing but nice to you. I thought we were turning a new leaf. And then Alexia makes a good point. How are we turning a new leaf? But on the way to the party, you was talking Cash Money-ish about me. And Adriana's like, what are you talking about? So then they do a flashback where Kiki was like, yeah, Adriana was in the car talking about you as we were on our way to the New Horizons party. And then they show Adriana talking trash about Alexia, pretty much saying that Alexia has changed ever since she got with Todd, and she's living her, like, she loves fawning around Todd's wealth. So they're on the bus going back and forth. Everybody else is just looking at them like, my goodness. And so then Marisol jumps in on it and says something. And I can't remember what she said about, like, I think she was like, don't worry about it or something like that. And then Adriana's like, F you, Marisol. Like, she was dropping F-bombs like crazy. And Gertie was sitting behind her like, oh my God, girl. Gertie's face, Gertie was so like she was taken aback by the way that Adriana started cussing Marisol out. And then Adriana calls Marisol like hateful, and then she calls Marisol a drunk. Now, when I saw this on Twitter, I saw the sneak peek. It didn't really hit for me. I know a lot of people are going up for Adriana because they don't like Marisol or Alexia, but the whole drunk comment is like low-hanging fruit. It's like calling somebody that's fat. And it's like, okay, that's all you can say. But like Marisol said, how am I hateful or a dirty person when you had sex with my ex? So then Adriana was like, I would never take your sloppy seconds. But then I'm like, but you did, though. You told that lady that her ex was never in love with her, and you said that you went out on a date with him. So inadvertently, you did have her sloppy seconds. So they going back and forth, and Marisol is like, girl, I'm better than you. I'm not playing in the dirt with you. You're like a snake, like eating its own tail. Like, girl, they was really cussing each other out. I said, oh my goodness, Marisol and Adriana do not like each other. And to me, I think it's a mixture of, like, they really did have love for each other, to now it's like very much like, I can't stand her. I don't like her. She's like, they both, it's funny to me because what they say about each other is they say the same thing about each other. They both say that they're hateful people. They both say that they're snakes. Like, they say the same thing, and they be going off on each other. And it's hilarious to me. It is hilarious to me. So then Marisol and Adriana stop arguing, and then Alexia and Adriana continue to argue. And Alexia basically said, girl, you are jealous of my life. Like, you are happy, you are angry that I'm happy and you're not happy. Then you got Larsa and Kiki in the confessional being like, girl, I thought we was going to a charity event. They are really fighting hardcore. Like, they are going off on each other. And I'm like, Kiki, let's not act like you didn't start this, girl, because you went back and told Alexia that this lady was talking trash about her, and now she mad. So we get to the game, and like I said, the ladies were split into teams. You have, I think, Julia, Adriana, Marisol, and Kiki were on the blue team, and then like Nicole, Alexia, what's her name? Larsa and I want to say Lisa were on the black team. And I think the blue team ended up winning. I think it was like 30-32. But none of them are coordinated. Adriana and Marisol fail. I think Marisol, we gonna see next episode, got a brace on. Kiki messed up her ankle, so she's scurrying in with a walker. It was a mess. And so we see they finally let the regular people play who actually know how to play basketball. I think majority, if not all, the husbands were there. We even saw Martina was there. She was like, "Come on, Julia." But it was funny. So we see Julia and Adriana sit down to have a conversation. And Julia's asking Adriana, like, "Girl, how do you feel? Like, are you okay? Like, how do you feel after what happened on the bus?" And Julia is like, not Julia, Adriana's like, I'm hurt. My heart hurts. My feet hurt. Like, I think that's the reason why I can't get with Adriana, because Adriana always acts like a perpetual victim, like she doesn't do things to people. Like, I'm not saying it's totally all on her, but she never takes ownership for the things that she really does. The only time we've seen her do it was actually episode 1, or was it episode 1, where she actually apologized for the statements that she made about Frankie. Other than that, especially when it comes to Marisol, Adriana never takes ownership for the part that she plays in it. And slightly neither does Marisol, because Marisol saying that, like, Adriana winds me up and she makes me crazy. Girl, can't nobody make you crazy. Like, if anything, you could have just been quiet or not even engaged with Adriana. You could have just paid that lady dust. But as Julia and Adriana are sitting on the sidelines, Julia is saying that it's okay if Marisol is not invited to the opera party slash like celebration party for Martina. She says, but she still wants Alexia to come. And Adriana feels some type of way because she was like, "You saw what they said to me." And Julia's like, "Yeah, what Marisol said to you was not okay." But I'm like, well, are you going to check your friend for being on a bus calling that lady a mother effer? Like, it's weird to me because I feel like Julia thinks that Marisol is like puppeteering Alexia, and I'm like, she's not. Alexia says the things that she says, but when it comes to Adriana, it's like, did you not hear your friend cuss out this lady? Like, Marisol and her were having, like, it wasn't even that deep for Adriana to be like, "Mother effer this and mother effer that, you're a hateful bee." And it was that little argument they had on the bus did not need to go that deep. And it's just kind of like, what was Marisol's response supposed to be? "Thank you for calling me a mother effer. Thank you for cussing me out." Did you not expect her to say anything? And it's just like, Julia just don't like Marisol. And I don't think Marisol likes Julia, so ain't no love lost between them. So the last scene of the episode is the ladies going to the locker room, and Todd set up like a birthday cake display. Like, they're celebrating Alexia's birthday. He ends up gifting Alexia like a $78,000 watch. She's excited. She's happy. She's eating cake. And while she's eating cake, and like some of the ladies saying happy birthday to her, Adriana said, "Not my vocal cords. They too precious for you." You see Adriana having a conversation with Anthony where she's basically saying, like, "Do you know what silent luxury is?" And Anthony's like, "No, what you mean?" And she was like, "That's what you are." And he was like, "Oh, okay." Pretty much saying, like, new money is loud, wealth is moves in silence. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So then the whole display about the birthday gift, yeah, it's corny at this point. Like, the first time Todd gave Alexia a gift last episode, it was cute. She was on her birthday trip with the girls. Like, he wasn't there. It was really sweet that he bought her the gift. But now it is like Adriana say, like, you're peacocking. You want people to know that you have wealth. And Alexia is glad to throw this gift and this whole display of affection by Todd in Adriana's face. Now, what I will say is, I saw a lot of people commenting on Twitter saying that in Miami, the behavior that Todd and Alexia have is normal. Like, people are very like showboaty and they show their wealth. They are very flashy. So a lot of people are not getting Adriana's statements. My thing is, if Adriana had the money that Alexia and Todd had, one, her comments would still be haterish, but nobody would think she was bitter. But it's like, you don't have the money, you don't have a man, and it's like you're constantly attacking someone you say you want to be friends with, and that when you hurt them, you hurt yourself. You do give off hater and jealousy. It really gives projection, like you want that lifestyle and you don't have it, and it bothers you very deeply. And Adriana makes good points. Alexia is annoying with the way that she shows her wealth, but it's like, okay, what else you got? Like, and then to make that comment at the end about like TikTok on how long their relationship's going to last, when they see that and they call you on it at the reunion, Adriana doesn't need to cry when they call her bitter, hateful, and jealous. Like, you make these statements, and then when people call you on it, all of a sudden you're a victim, and you're not. You're just not. It is what it is. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.